Well, I am very excited today to introduce you all to someone who I was introduced to on TikTok a few months ago. And this guy changed the way I thought about music. And I have been a music fan for a really long time, since I was like a FM DJ and for a rock station in high school. And I heard something in this man's voice and in this man's songs that just hit me deep inside. And I thought, I never have had an artist on the channel before. Usually here we talk about things like mindfulness and the hero's journey. And I thought there's nothing more important than the seeds of wisdom that are in our own stories. And this man tells stories that are so full of those seeds. So today I want to introduce you all to Josler to Disco. Hello,
Wow.
Josler.
Hello, thank you. That was incredible. I'm going to remember that. That was such a nice intro.
It was all true, man.
I didn't know you were an FM DJ. That's so cool. In high school, you said?
Yeah, that was my probably like my third or fourth job.
Mm-hmm.
One summer, my dad dropped me off at this radio station next to his office every day on the way to work, and I was an intern. And I just answered the phones and took requests. And I just thought it was great to be around a radio station. And then the next winter, I was there doing that same thing on a weekend, and somebody couldn't make it to work because it was like a blizzard. And they're like, do you want to take this shift?
As all great things do, just kind of fell. Yeah.
Yep,
I love it. Yeah.
And so that was how I started as the youngest DJ in America on a top 30 rock station.
Oh my gosh, Eric, that's so crazy. Wow.
It was 1983, long before you were born.
Well, a couple years after I would have been born, yeah. That's wild, though. I love when that kind of stuff happens. Very serendipitous, with the blizzard and everything.
That's really kind of what that's so much of what I found life is about. Mm-hmm. Is that serendipity? Like literally the way I found your music. Just there I was on TikTok, and truthfully, for somebody who creates a lot of social media, I try not to spend too much time doom scrolling, because
100%,
no matter how much you want to tweak your algorithm, there's still just, too much stuff in there that's just trying to get you.
For sure, yeah.
And when I saw you and I heard what you were singing, and I just, I one of the things I try to do on social media is to make social media a better place, more peaceful, more real, more connecting. And I saw you doing that same thing, and I just was immediately drawn in. And so I guess mostly I'm just really curious, like, what is your story? Where did you come from, and how did you start doing this? Like, your music doesn't sound like anyone else, and that's rare these days.
Well, that's very high praise. Very nice of you to say. I guess I'll just, like, my intro is, my name's Josler to Disco. I'm from like Tucson, Arizona, which is like southwestern town in Arizona. And I started making music when I was about 11. I was a really notoriously bad music student. I took like piano lessons and stuff like that, but I hated it. I would like never practice. My teachers were always very disappointed in me. And so I was like begging my mom to stop doing piano lessons and all that stuff. And so she finally let me stop doing piano lessons. And then the moment I stopped, I started taking it back up again just on my own. I think it was like the being told what to do thing or something that I don't know. It was like when it felt like work, I couldn't enjoy it as much. And so the second I stopped, I just kind of went with it. And I was about 11 years old when that happened. And I started writing music and started writing songs. And I think it just kind of coincided with, figuring out who I was and my own place in life and, coming to terms with like my sexuality and stuff like that. I think that young, I think I used music as kind of a, I don't know, not like a crutch, but more like a way to vent my frustrations in my life and, just trying to figure things out, get it onto paper so it was out of my head kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that was really just this start of everything. And then as I went through school and I grew up, the idea of like doing musical stuff became more appealing to me. And I don't know, I just loved it. I loved figuring out songs when I was a kid, like listening to albums and trying to figure out what they were talking about or who they were talking about, or, the craft of the music I think was so beautiful. And yet I would listen to all these songs and like, I would never relate to them, like they were not, I mean, I would relate to them in other ways, but like they weren't about like, gay people or anything like that. And I felt kind of like I wanted there to be something that reflected the way that I felt in the world. And so I started making my own things. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you started making music at 11. When did you come out?
I came out around, probably a couple years after that. I think I was really starting to feel like, I don't know, just that there was something different about me at that time. And the best way like I found to, like kind of deal with that was to just focus on myself and focus on writing and all that stuff. And I really was like trying to get it out of my head. Would just like write songs or write stuff and like try and just figure everything out. It was very like, I was the youngest of 4. And so I was always like looking, very, very observational kid. So that was like kind of my viewpoint of life.
So coming out at 13, at 13 was when I was just starting to lose the friends I'd had in elementary school. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know that I was queer.
Right.
They did. I mean, I knew that I was attracted to guys and to some of my teachers, and like there was something, right. But I also, it was the 70s, and it was still, people were saying, people who are gay are just sick, they need help.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, well, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to, I had all this deep shame and fear. I wouldn't have dreamed of telling anyone
totally
that I had those feelings. But for you to be able to do that at 13, that's fantastic. I mean, it was a different time. I'm guessing that was the 90s when you did
this
that?
It was 2000s at this point.
Okay.
And it was a different time. It was still, I mean, definitely like there was a lot more acceptance for sure. I will say, full disclosure, my coming out was not my doing. I had told a friend and then he had told the whole school. So it was kind of like I was kicked out of the closet in that sense. And I think like, again, it was just another thing added on to like this, I don't know, this like loss of agency that I had where I felt like I didn't have control of the narrative of like, being gay. Like I didn't even know who I was before I was gay, like I didn't know who I was before I was like forced out of the closet, just like, and so I think it took me a long time to, just figure it out. Like it would for anyone, it's like you were saying, everyone knew before you did kind of thing. It was the same exact feeling. I felt like, like people know this thing about me that I wasn't even sure of myself. And yet it was exactly right, and yet they got me because it was, super true.
So you've been writing from this perspective of an out guy for most of your life now.
Yeah.
One of the things that really touches me about your music is I'm brought right back to the crushes I had when I was 18. Mm-hmm. That deep feeling of just like, I'll never love this way again, and I'll never be hurt this way again. Yeah. But not in a, and that's dangerous territory because, that's what pop music is. And it can get really cheesy really fast. And
Yeah.
you never go there. It's just like this beautiful dance along the edge of that, something that's so true and so innocent and so honest. I'm curious how that, it's been a while since you were that kid. Do you still feel connected to that heart inside of you? Where does that music come from?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think I have, I try and be like really honest with like my depictions of it. And, there's always an element of like fantasy whenever you're writing about something you're thinking about in the past. But I think at the time it's like, it feels like everything is the end of the world when you're that young and you have no experience and, you have no perspective. And so I think like trying to make the song feel like the stakes are that high is just like doing it justice to what it was at the time. Like you're saying, when you're 18 and you're, falling in love for the first time, or you're meeting someone, or you're crushing over someone, it's like this all consuming feeling of just like, it's everything to you at the time.
Yeah.
And so I try and be as honest as possible and just like, yeah, just try and, I don't know, get the perspective right, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you do it over and over and over again, which is just really impressive to me because I could only find one album of yours that it seems like you made a long time ago. Is that right?
Yeah. That was my first album was, I released it. It was like a demo album. And then after that, I released this, like, I had released a single that was like really well produced. And then I had gone to LA trying to like release another full album, and COVID happened. And so I ended up not being able to do that. And so I released more voice demos. And then after that, I was kind of like, maybe the album, maybe this is a sign and the album thing isn't for me. And so I really want to make an album, but I've just been releasing singles consistently since then. So I don't know. I really would like to make like a full LP, like something like that. I'd really put a lot of time into. That's in the works for sure for me.
I would love to hear that. I'm like being an FM DJ from the 80s. I'm an album guy. I have a lot of vinyl records, and I love sitting down and listening to a whole album. Like, so what I've been doing is, I think I might have told you this. I took all your Apple Music, whatever that playlist is that they make of like the most popular songs, and I just put it into a playlist and kind of made my own album of yours for when I'm on a road trip or whatever. But there's nothing that really beats that, like, the first track, second track, all the way to the last track of like, it's
100% agree.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
I know. Yeah. It's happening. It'll happen. I promise. Yeah.
Good. So do you write a lot? I mean, it seems like every time I get on TikTok or Instagram, I see a new song, you doing a new song I haven't heard before. You're not like, there's a lot of people who just play the same song over and over again. I'm trying to get the one that hits, but you're like playing almost full songs and just so many of them.
Yeah.
Where all these come from?
Yeah. I think I used in my youth writing as a tool to cope, like a coping tool. And so I think it was just this, like, I think I just ended up writing a ton of songs. I have a ton of songs. And so I used to get like really in my head about releasing stuff and releasing music and like, perfectionist qualities or whatever. And then I kind of like just tried to get over that. I went to therapy. I was like trying to get over it. And so I just was like, I'm just going to record stuff and just put it out. And if it resonates with people, then it resonates with people. And I really credit my friend Alexis for this because she's like my pseudo manager. She helps me out a little bit, but, she really was like, if you release something, if you put something out on TikTok and like 5 people like it, she's like, chances are that if you showed it to 1 million people, that 5 people would grow exponentially and be like, like 30 people or like, or however many. And so she was just like, I think like what's the important part here is that you put stuff out, you continually put stuff out. And you take like the positive reception to heart, and like you just use that. And so that has been a really like rewarding experience, because it makes like the want to just like not do anything and wait till everything is perfect to put it out. It like gets rid of that, because it helps me be able to do that without freaking out about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I have a ton of songs. It's a lot of songs. I write a lot. It's like journaling for me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, and I don't like, I'm totally fanboying and gushing here. Whatever. I don't care. They don't miss. Like, your songs are
wow. You're very really, nice. Thank you.
Really good. I mean, like the other day, I'm thinking specifically of that song, "Not in Mine." Mm-hmm. That like it's just I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. That is just like a simple song, so perfectly done. I don't know. I want to encourage everybody to like go hunt Josler's music down and check it out for yourself. It's like, yeah. I would say like the person you reminded me of the most, which there are very few people that your music even sounds like to me, but it was kind of like the first time I heard James Taylor. Mm-hmm. There was just like, James Taylor just sounds like just James Taylor. There's nobody else he sounds like. Except for his son sounds a lot like him. I was going to a Edie Brickell concert once, and I walked in and the opening band was playing. I'm like, oh, who thinks they're James Taylor? And I was like, oh, that's James Taylor's son. Okay, he's allowed to sound like James Taylor.
Yeah. He gets a pass for sure.
But so you just have this very unique sound, this very unique take. Is that challenging in a world where everybody is kind of sounding more and more alike all the time?
Yeah, and I totally, and I think I it's hard not to fall victim to it or whatever. I think the times where I've talked to like industry people on the phone or whatever, like, or someone's noticed or something, very often they're like, you need to start doing, this kind of story. Like, they like offer things to which, I'm fairly receptive to, but I don't usually change what I'm doing, because I don't know. I like what I do, and I feel like there's integrity there to just continually, like, I believe in the growth cycle and whatnot of like, growing in songwriting and stuff like that. But like you were saying, I think it really works. I think it works well to do what I keep doing without, going poppier, or like doing, something that would be more mass appealing to people. It's right. Like, I want it to be the way I hear it in my head. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. I've struggled with that myself in my life. I've had lots of different careers. I've just recently, the last few years, had this sort of social media following to start. Mm-hmm. And even with that, it was just sort of like, oh, wait, like, who am I here? Because people want to tell me what to do. They're like, oh, I wish you would do this, and I wish you would do that. And I'm like, mm-hmm. I do what I do. When I go out with my dogs and I make one of my little videos, which are amazing, by the way. Thank you.
I love them.
I appreciate that. Thank you. For me, that's like my art right now. Mm-hmm. I've never had just one medium that I felt was like I was really good at, and this is the one I use to express myself. But for me right now, that's kind of like what I do. I go out and I love the whole process of it. I love the walk with the dogs. I love shooting it. I love bringing all the footage back and creating the story and putting a soundtrack under it. And I think that getting lost in it is how I find the wisdom that's between the words, the sense of knowing who I am that doesn't come from what I'm even doing or saying, but lives deeper. And I get that same feeling from your music. You mentioned going to therapy. Mm-hmm. How have therapy and music woven together in your life? And what is, if you don't mind talking about it?
Oh, not at all, please.
And what has that kind of what has therapy and your music shown you about who you are?
I think, I mean, first off, I'm a huge proponent of therapy. I think everyone should go to therapy if they're able to. I think it's a wonderful thing to do. Anything that makes people question their own place in their own life and for the better, I think is a great tool. But for me, I really went to therapy for a lot of different reasons, relationship stuff and the like. But I think what I came out of it from, like, as a musician, truthfully, like, I think it was more like it was about like the tying my self-worth to the things that I create and stuff like that. It's a vicious cycle. It's a non-sustainable cycle. And I love what you said about this is like your art right now and how you're doing it. And, those questions about people wanting something from you or like wanting you to do it a different way. And you're being like, this is like what I'm doing. And this is why it's unique, is because I'm doing it this way. And not straying from that, I think, is a really beautiful thing. And it reminds me of, I went to therapy I was really struggling with perfectionism and releasing things a couple years ago. And my therapist at the time was telling me this story she had. She was a ceramicist, and she was talking about how she was doing this open house and she hated the piece that she had made for the open house for like her pottery thing. They were supposed to do kitchen sets. And so she made this this kitchen set of plates. She was like, I hate it. It's going to be on this auction. Like, everyone's going to see it. They're going to laugh at it or whatever. She puts it out there, and the open house opens, and a woman comes over and she's like, oh, these are perfect for my kitchen. I'm going to get these. And it's just this perfect, like, thing of, you get so in your head about the process and about, if it's how it compares to your other work, that you forget that, it's a really beautiful thing for some people. It's going to be life-changing for other people or whatever, like this, I think it really helped me. Like that story really like brought a lot of things in perspective for me. Cause like at some point it's not yours anymore. It's like you're making this thing and then you're giving it and you put it out, and then whatever it means to those people is what it means.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. As soon as it's out there in the world, it takes on whatever meaning the person who's watching or listening gives it. Yeah. And that is, to me, again, what's so beautiful about your music is that it's really honest. It isn't just, like hooks and cliches to kind of get a response. It's like the response comes like in goosebumps and like from deep inside. And I think that's difficult. That's not, I don't know, maybe difficult's the wrong word. That's beautiful and challenging almost in a way. It's like, I know when I listen to one of your songs that I'm gonna have to kind of, I would imagine people who didn't want to feel that way, like didn't want to have their own heart touched, might not like your music. They might,
for sure.
They might go, "Oh, that's a little much," because it's it's so beautiful, but it gets in there.
Totally. And I, my music is definitely like more lyrical, and I think like some people just want to dance. As Outkast says, like some people just want to dance, and that's okay too. And I think definitely it's not for everyone. It's it's my own thing. It's like I try and do, just like what I try and write what I know and what I can do honestly and do well. Like I want to do it justice. I want to do like the stories justice, and I want to do the songs justice. Like you mentioned, Not Mine. That was I wrote that song after a really bad breakup, really bad, like the kind of breakup where you go to different shamans to try and, get over the breakup, like that kind of breakup.
Familiar.
Yeah. And I was just, there was this absurdist element. Like I was so sad it became absurd. Like I was really trying to get over this guy, and I, that like, I feel like I try and communicate that in my music where I'm like, there's parts of like the heartbreak cycle that are like, it's funny that like you're, going to a shaman or like something like that because it's so sad and it's so authentic to yourself at the time because you're just trying any means necessary to get over something.
Yeah.
And I think in that way, I try and make it, again, like honest and just encompass the journey of the song, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just really enjoying this conversation.
I know.
It's so nice to meet you.
I know, very nice to meet you too.
It's almost like I don't have a whole lot of questions, because I guess I just feel like your music really just speaks for itself. I feel like I know you, even though I don't.
I get that a lot. I think it resonates, and yeah, I want people to feel seen, because I think growing up, I didn't feel as seen by like music and stuff. And so I want people to know that like these situations and these things that have happened, like it happens to other people, and it's, you know, it's normal and everything, and it sucks. And, you know, it's good to, it's like, I just want people to feel seen in that way.
That is beautiful. And it's definitely something your music does. Mm-hmm. And it's also something that's important to me, you know, that because the times in my life where I have felt the most supported, where someone has helped me get through something that was so challenging I didn't know I was going to make it through, was because they just took the time and the space to let me feel seen. Mm-hmm. You know, they weren't putting what they needed from me on me, or trying to fix me or tell me how it was going to be better. It was really just, I'm here with you.
Right.
Just take as long as you need. And I don't think there's anything we can give to anyone that is more healing, integrative, supportive of who we all are. Because while we all are different, we're much more similar.
Totally. Yes.
And in that space, we can kind of see, you know, that similarity when we stop trying to fix ourselves and others.
Definitely. Yeah. And similarly for you and for me, like, I think you made your original message to me, was very sweet. You DM'd me just saying, like, you know, I really love your music. I think it was from the song Peter as a Song that I recently released this past summer.
Love that song.
And similarly for me, it was like I felt like, you know, it's like a lot of times in this industry, you're just kind of screaming out into a void, hoping that something will like hitch, or, you know, like trying to make something happen, or that like people will hear it and like it. And so it's hard. I think, like, I try not to take it too hard or too seriously. And then whenever I get messages like yours, where it's like, this really resonated with me, I felt this emotion with you, you know, like this thing really, really worked for me. It makes it all worth it, and so like fun, and it reminds me why I do it in the first place, which is like for that connection, to be there with that person, and know, like, just assure them that they're not alone in whatever they've gone through or whatever they're going through.
Yeah. And it's a subtly different thing from what we were talking about before, that kind of, that perfectionism that kind of wants to make everything right. So that, like, for me, it was always about, I've had this, my whole life, this deep feeling of not being worthy, of being, you know, unable to have or do the things that I feel like I should. It's just been this sense of inadequacy that's kind of dogged me my whole life. And for the longest time, I was looking for validation to ease that sense. Like, oh, there's some way out there in the world I can get something, attention, recognition, money, whatever, a relationship that will get rid of this feeling.
Right.
And then being with that feeling and just saying, okay, this feeling is central to most of our experience of what it's like to be a human. Yeah, like most of us feel that
Yeah.
deeply. And we spend so much time, especially on that, like scroll. Oh my God, I'm so like, everything's so fantastic. It's so wonderful. Don't you wish you had this? And it's just like, it can really be crushing, right? And what I found was that in going to that feeling instead of running away from it and opening myself up to it, and myself and others, even when it's uncomfortable, there is a peace and like a knowing of what our human situation is, you know, that goes beyond culture, beyond time, beyond any definition of who we are that will outlast us. You know, he was a this or he was a that.
Right.
And I think that, that music has that same thing. It touches into that when it's really honest, when it's really, not to say, you know, like, I mean, I'm thinking of like the last album I downloaded was Taylor Swift's new album. And, you know, I cannot get that damn thing out of my head once I hear it. And I like, I wake up in the middle of the night, you know, like the chorus to Life of Ophelia. And it's like, it isn't that. It's something different. But like you said before, some people just want to dance. There's a place for all of it. But
Totally.
At its core, I think even to an extent, music like Taylor's has that expression of who we are, and that's something that people seem to be doing less and less these days. Is like, you know, everybody kind of wants to be like someone else. I like that person, so I want to do what they're doing, or they were successful, so I'm going to do that. And Lord knows I spent so much of my life doing the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
You mentioned kind of the, you know, when you talk to industry people, they're just, they all have ideas. Where do you, how do you see this going for yourself? Do you have like a roadmap, or you just kind of like in it today and see what's going on? Or I'm just sort of curious. Like, because here's the thing, I really want you to be successful. So I guess I'm a little bit, I'm like, I'll cop to like hoping that like you want to be like getting, I want everybody to hear your music.
Oh, thank you. I do too. That's very sweet. What you were saying, I loved what you were saying. And I think I really agree what you're saying. A lot of people are wanting to sound like other people. And I think that's like unfortunately a very of the time thing, you know, like I think, similarity is rewarded and like algorithms and whatnot. And so I think a lot of the industry people I talk to are very much like, you need to sound like this, or like, you know, you need to do these things with your music, and that's how you're going to reach an audience and whatnot. And so I think anytime that I can do that organically, just on my own, where, you know, like I reach someone like you and you really resonate with my music, like it's a beautiful thing. And, as for like where I want to go with it, I mean, I am very lucky. I work like a couple other odd jobs, but I do this a lot. And so, I play shows, and I would love to do it full time. It's just a dream of mine. I love it so much. I love every part of it, and I love creating music. And so, yeah, that's the dream, is to just keep doing what I'm doing and, scale and expand and try and figure out a way forward, you know.
Will you be going back to LA to record another album, or will you be doing that somewhere closer to home, or what are the plans for that?
I think probably eventually I'll try and get back out to LA. I really love it, and I have a lot of people out there that I love. And so I think I eventually will, but I'm really loving being from Tucson right now, and just being in Tucson, and, you know, doing local shows and doing shows up in Phoenix. And, you know, I'm trying to travel around a little bit this next summer, going up to California. And I don't know, I think it's not only good for like, I don't know, it's just good for me, but also just like for like my psyche as like an artist. I think it helps grow and put you in situations where it's not so, tailored to you like it is on like TikTok and whatnot, which, yeah. But I mean, I still love posting on TikTok, and I still love the social media game. I'm doing all of that too.
Yeah. Well, you're doing great at it. I love your videos. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
So you come to Northern California, definitely let me know, because
I will let you know.
I want to try and catch that show.
I'll get you some backstage passes.
This is another thing that I've noticed in the last, I haven't been to a concert since COVID, so I'll cop to that, but I'm about ready to go again. The problem is I'm getting close to being 60, and most concerts don't start until 10 o'clock at night. So it's got to be kind of the right night usually for me to get there. But that aside, a lot of people talk during shows now, and with music like yours, do you run into that? And what is that like? Because I know that drives me nuts when I go to a show and I'm trying to listen. People are just like, and just like, no, hey, come on, that.
For me right now, I'm not at a place where I can shush the audience, but eventually I'll get there. Yeah, but no, it just depends. I think like the vibe of the place that I'm playing oftentimes plays into it. If I'm playing like a hometown show, it's usually with like a lot of people like who have seen me before, or like they know me or something, and so people are usually listening more intently. I think the ones that feel successful to me is like when I start playing a show and there's a lot of talking, and then by the end of it, it's really quiet and people are listening. I think that feels really like, I feel like I've got them, I got them in my, whatever. That always feels like fun to me. But yeah, I mean, I go to shows and people talk. It's wild to me, man. I don't know what to say. It's a crazy thing. I think it's just like I don't know, of the times kind of thing. But
I do think that's part of it. I think that like, especially most of the shows I go to are in San Francisco or Oakland, and that's like the closest big city to where I live. And there are a lot of people who are just, and you can't get tickets to most shows now. Everything sells out because people are just like, they're just like, I want to go do something. And they just look on the what is happening tonight app. And there's like, oh, there's the thing. Let's just go. And they go and they don't really know the artist, and they're just like, they see somebody they know, and that's just, they talk. They're not there for the show. It seems like more and more. I'm just, I guess as an artist, that, like, to me, it seems like it would drive me bonkers. But I get like, if you're performing in a place that's like a cafe and people are talking, like they're talking because it's there. But if at a show, and it's usually like the opener, I'll go to see an opener, and the people who are coming to see the headliner will treat the opener like, it's just the opener. Let's just talk.
Yeah.
It's just like, no. No.
I know. Yeah. I've been that opener before. I feel like it's just I don't know. Yeah. It's a wild thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I have one last question for you.
Okay.
You hashtag your music y'alternative. I love that that term. How would you describe your music to somebody who doesn't know it? And that's just, I guess, like, how do you describe your music?
I would say it's a very lyrics forward indie folk / alternative country. Is like the alternative is like alternative country. And so I think it's very lyrical in that way. Like you said, like it kind of James Taylor-y, singer-songwriter-y kind of vibe. Very much queer focused in that. And I like to, some songs I like to add a little bit more kick to them and do more of like a, pop punky feel, or, going into more like a rock feel. And then other songs I like to do more acoustic. But the through line there, I think, is just like a focus on the lyricism and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Sounds like what I hear.
Yeah.
So, well, Josler, I'm just so tickled to meet you and to have this conversation. I'm really looking forward to seeing you live and to seeing more of what you post on both social media and Apple Music and Spotify, although mostly I'm on Apple Music these days. Last question. You don't have a Bandcamp account, do you?
I do not. I believe I did way back in the day, but yeah, I do not have one currently. I need to get on that for sure.
Here's the thing. I went and looked because I'm the guy who supports artists with like money. If
hell yeah, we love to hear it. Yeah.
Right. So like, I'm going to pay for your digital download on Bandcamp if I'm really into your music. And so I guess I would just, if that's not a big pain in your butt to start that up again, I'll also on Bandcamp Fridays, I love to post links for artists I like to like, hey, go support this person. And I just like my Bandcamp, is the weirdest assortment of like the most alternative music I listen to. And I love it.
I love that. Yeah.
So, and then like, if there's ever vinyl, that's a great place to sell that. And,
totally. Yeah. I've been really thinking about doing like a limited release or something like that I was going to combine all the album in a year songs that I did where I was doing one a month. This was last year into one vinyl, and I was going to sell that a little bit. So I was thinking about that, but yeah, definitely I'm going to get back on Bandcamp for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And definitely I'm going to buy that vinyl.
All right, sweet. Sounds good.
We got a deal. So thanks so much, Josler. And maybe we could do this again sometime. I really enjoyed this. So
I know, me too.
Let's check in like when that album's done or when you're about to tour, and we can talk about all the things that I didn't ask you on this one that I'm going to remember as soon as we get off of here.
Thank you so much, Erik. It was such a pleasure to meet you and talk to you. Thank you.
Likewise.